Let's get the best game sense. Okay, but wait, hold on. What the heck is game sense? Well, it's explained in about a million ways, and a quick summary of a great number of those descriptions could sound something like, you just know what to do. You know what's going to happen next. You know how other factors are gonna act. A pretty simple way to summarize game sense is the act of knowing. I think we've all felt that sensation before, at least once. A time where we maybe took a guess, or faked out an enemy, or done something like that. When it worked, we went, yeah, I knew that was gonna happen, and it feels so good. It feels so rewarding. So, how do we do that more often? How do we develop game sense? We can't do that by having a simple idea of what game sense is. No, we need to clearly understand what it is and then work off of that. Those moments, those sensations, that feeling you get when you outdid your challenger, where you played smarter. What really makes game sense? It's just two things. One, acumen. Understanding the easily quantifiable information around you, including your surroundings, your team's tools, the opposing force's tools, the objective itself, and understanding the extent of your own skills. And two, intuition. Understanding the manipulation of wildly variable data, for the most part the behavior and actions of others involved in the game. This might sound complicated, and I totally follow, it kinda is. What we're gonna do is look at one example and then use these two parts of game sense to give us the edge in a situation. So the scenario is in Beetle Blaster 4 Arcade Edition X, a Fate game that I use for every example. The hero Boozle has a powerful ability, an ultimate, with a long cooldown and a fast activation time. It works best when he gets to a higher point in the map, charges up a big jump, and then launches into the air to rain beams down on his enemies. You and your team being able to react to this ability on the other team is very important, and Game Sense will give us that preparation. How? So let's use the two parts of Game Sense in this situation. One, acumen. It's a minute into the game. The enemy team has a Boozle player. Since this Boozle has been playing pretty well, they definitely have their ultimate ability available. Additionally, our team doesn't have the best cover right now, making us easy prey for that ability. This should be changed. We then physically see the enemy Boozle jump high into the sky and start lighting up all fancy. This tells us that ultimate is about to be used. We react quickly and move ourselves to proper cover. 2. Intuition. The enemy Boozle isn't currently visible and hasn't been for a while. The enemy team is also playing very cautiously and seemingly trying to draw our attention to something far away from where we last saw the enemy Boozle. It's definitely coming. In this situation, Game Sense gives you or your team a huge advantage. In this situation, the enemy team has gone, ha, but wait till you see my secret weapon, and then they use it, and you're already prepared for it. So how do we do this? How do we get better Game Sense? These things are clearly out there to recognize. When we put everything on pause, they're right there and sometimes obvious. We need to train all our senses to catch them, though. And then, further than that, we need to be able to do this in the middle of the action. We cannot expect ourselves to turn on a switch and just soak everything in, though. It would be unreasonable for anyone to ask you to suddenly stop and develop incredible game sense. We need to narrow our focus. Get out your magnifying glasses with me, and let's find some key things for us to think about the next time we're in-game for either part of Game Sense. So first, let's handle acumen. When we know what tools we, our team, and the enemy have at their respective disposal in those critical moments, we're that much more in tune with what we can and what we should do. Additionally, what does our environment give us to work with? The rules of the game, the objective itself. To keep things practical from this moment on, you as a player must make better use of these things in every game you play. Is there a scoreboard or a roster available to us? What does this tell us about the team composition and what we should be worried about or playing around? Who in my team is carrying? Who could use some more support? What are we going up against? What tools will be used against us? Is the objective more important than this thing I'm doing right now? Is the enemy running a specific playstyle with their select tools? What formations can we prepare for? How long till we need to move or act on something important? Exactly how many seconds till this important thing happens? Asking yourself these things in the middle of the action will give you and your game sense the edge. Secondly, intuition. When we can consistently take into account or maybe even use our opponent's actions and thought process against them, this is where game sense becomes something that people see as being extremely special. For the most part, intuition is all about how much we know about the enemy. Before your first encounter with them, you're mostly working with a blank slate. However, even then, we have means to control the game. To take in and use this information, we need to, again, use everything available to us. Ask yourself, at what moment would challenging this target give me the greatest advantage? Is my target aware of my behavior, patterns, or tools? Is my target aware of my position or the advantages that I have? Will my target be exposed or distracted in a few seconds? How confident is my foe? When will applying pressure give them the least amount of confidence? Has my enemy displayed recognizable patterns or openings? All of these questions lead us to answers that can help us exploit. Answers that will help us win. To keep things practical here, let's try making use of this information in 2 different ways. First, using a target's confidence or ignorance against them. Subversion or surprise. Secondly, rapid learning about your opponent and using it to your advantage. With the first, try to predict or inspire mistakes by using your tools or environment. Leave traps, wait on ambushes, or potentially recognize moments where you're better off not applying pressure at all and saving resources. Or, when you're on the offensive, seek out traps, challenge ambushes, and recognize when pushing will be your advantage. Look at all the things you can do, then think, should I? With the second, just think, what might my opponent be thinking? What are they about to do? And then try to use that against them. As always, overall, prompt yourself during any downtime you have. Address what you're facing. Answer it in actions. Check out my videos linked below regarding on how to ask yourself these questions in the middle of the game. Anyway, I hope that clears up what GameSense means and what it gives us. There's a million ways to look at the huge subject, but what's most important is that we start acting to develop it now rather than wondering what the heck it is and watching 3-hour videos about it. Get out there, play smart, play with GameSense, and show them what you got. Like the video? I have a Patreon to help support making this content and running a Discord server where I answer all kinds of questions regarding individual games or coaching yourself and others. Patrons, you're super rad. Everyone watching and developing their play and sharing these videos, you're stinking awesome too. Have a stellar day.